listening to Viral Podcasting, the place to go to learn how to generate a six-figure income or more from your podcast. To get the latest tips and information, go to viralpodcasting.com.
Welcome, and you are listening to another episode of Viral Podcasting, and this is show number 62. Been a while. Well, this is what I'm talking about with consistency. Honestly, I've been traveling. No excuses. If I wanted to keep up on the show, I would have just been distracted. But we're back now, and I've found a way to stay consistent, especially with my other show, financialsurvivalnetwork.com. That's the money show. That's the show where most of my audience comes from, most of my income. And I've always had the problem where I do segments, I do shows, and I do them daily, 3-4 days a week. I try to do 10 to 12 episodes a week. But the way I've always released them, it's just been haphazard. Some days you'll see 3, sometimes you won't see any. Some days there'll be 4 releases. And it's just not the way to run a show. If I'm doing 10 a week, why can't I figure out how to release 2 shows per day? It seems like it's simple enough. And finally, it just dawned on me, hey, I'll just tell my producer, right? I have to write the show notes. It's a thing that I don't like to do. It's the last thing that happens before a show gets released. But if I can just keep 2 ahead, so, we're doing these segments, I date them. I let everyone know what the date is that we're recording it because they're not evergreen. They're time sensitive to some extent. If they're really time sensitive, I'll release it immediately if it deals with something in the news that just broke. Hey, by the way, if you got any questions or comments, you want me to review your show, your business model, show you how to earn 6 figures from your show, then email me, kl@kerrylutz.com. And don't forget the book, Viral Podcasting, A Proven Process to Earn 6-Figure Income from Your Show. It's available on Amazon, both in Kindle and in hard copy form. So if I could do the shows and I can stay 2 shows ahead, it's a simple matter. I could do 6 shows on Monday, then for 3 days, or assuming that I had 2 shows left over from Friday, I can just release them 2 per day. So I thought, well, maybe the webmaster, he'll post it. It gets released on iTunes whenever it gets released and all the podcatchers that follow it. But what dawned on me is I need to be releasing 2 episodes per day, 9 a.m. every weekday. Now, I missed it today, but I only had the idea yesterday. They actually got released right around 10:30 a.m. But I've been preaching to you, telling you consistency is everything, and yet I've been the worst at myself at following my own advice. And it's really important, especially on a weekly show. You need to release it the same time, same day, same time, every week. I remember a show that I loved, still love, called Gold Seek Radio, Chris Waltzek, dealing with hard money, dealing with gold, etc. And I would listen to that show. He would always release it right around midnight Friday. And of course, there's times when it doesn't happen. That was weekly. Sometimes once every other month or so, he's on vacation. It gets screwed up. Something happens. It didn't get released. And I remember being disappointed, not quite angry at Chris because he's a great guy. And I know if he could have released it, he would have, but just very let down, like the sacred bond between listener and podcaster had somehow been violated. So I know it for myself, and yet it was so hard for me to do. I'm organized enough to produce a show, to get it out, and to make it sound pretty decent, to have good content. I just wasn't. That final step of organization is holding me back. And finally, it just dawned on me, hey, all I have to do is tell Melissa, my producer, just release 2 per day. And all I have to do is by 9 o'clock in the morning, have the show notes done on the 2 that are in the queue and just post them. And then Melissa will take care of the rest. Stefan, the webmaster, probably around 11 o'clock, will post both episodes, 2 episodes per day. Boom, done. And then I'm making my audience, the FSN members, they're very much more, they feel like I'm complying, I'm doing what I promised to do. And that makes them more loyal and more secure that I'm going to stay behind. I'm going to stay committed to the work that I'm doing. And that's very, very, very important. You have kind of this sacred bond, this trust that your audience, your community members, and they're not listeners, they are members of your community, of your tribe, if you will. They count on you. They look up to you. You're providing them with entertainment and knowledge, presumably. Sometimes it's just entertainment. Sometimes it's just knowledge. The best podcasters combine entertainment and knowledge together. So when you let them down, when you don't come through for them, or when you're haphazard in your release schedules, it doesn't shake the bond, but it makes it less solid. If they know they can count on you every day to release those shows, or every week at exactly the time when you promise, you become reliable and you become more credible. It increases your credibility. So I can't emphasize enough how very important this is. It's essential that you do it. And I finally figured out a way to do it, and I'm kind of like floating on air right now. I'll try to do it for viral podcasting once a week. Try to do it. I'll find a day that works. But for right now, just take my advice. If you're podcasting, just do this. And if you're a serious podcaster, just get the book. If you don't like it, send it back to me. I'll send you back your $10. All right? In fact, I'll send you back $15 if you don't like it. Just let me know. I really feel strongly that this book is one of the bedrock, one of the foundations to you having a successful podcasting career. And that reminds me, somebody asked me the other day, what do you do? And for the first time, I answered them, I am a professional podcaster. Now, mind you, I've been a professional podcaster for 8 years, but so many times over the past 8 years, you told people you're a podcaster, they don't know what you're talking about. And a lot of people don't understand, even to this day, what podcasting is. They're not into iTunes. They don't understand the app on their iPhone or on their Android. You know, the app is on both phones. You might have to download it on the Android. They just don't get it. But now I feel like, hey, it's up to me to educate anybody who doesn't know what a podcaster is. And you always get to the definition of podcasting. What is it? What do you do? Just call it on-demand radio. In a way, cassette tapes used to be podcasts. They were the predecessor to it. But you couldn't download them on demand, and you couldn't listen to them any place on demand. Yeah, you could always have your Walkman, if you remember such a thing, with your earphones, and you could listen to it much harder than listening to a podcast on any number of devices, on your desktop computer. I mean, you name it. You could listen to it on your Alexa. So many different places to do it. So really, podcasting, on-demand radio, kind of the same. Podcasting, it's not a good term for what we do because podcasting, the etymology of the word is from the iPod. The iPod was a separate device to which you downloaded music or audio files, MP3s, and then you could listen to them, whether it's at the gym or wherever. And there is no more iPod. They might make a couple of them, but nobody really buys the things. I guess in certain places they do, because your Apple iPod is incorporated into your iPhone, and with the Android, it's just incorporated into the Android phone operating system. So there's no more iPods per se as a standalone device. Therefore, the term is it's not descriptive. Because cast, webcast, music cast, video cast, it doesn't really say what it is. So if you can think of a better word, hey, I'll send you a copy of my book for free if you can come up with a better term than podcast. And we'll trademark it. We'll both make a fortune, right? So podcasting, consistency, consistent quality, consistent effort, consistent enthusiasm, consistent production, values, consistent everything. Consistency is the key to success in podcasting. Without it, you will be just another fly-by-night podcaster. That's not to say a podcaster who's a scammer or a Ponzi schemer, just that you're not really going to be serious. You're not going to be respected. you're not going to be looked up to as a professional until all aspects of your show have consistency and uniformity. Well, that's it for this show. Again, get your free evaluation, kl@kerrylutz.com, and I will take a look at your show, give you my take. I'll take a look at your business model if you want, give you my feedback there. Hey, I've got like a lot of other things. I've cracked the Rosetta Stone on how to build mailing lists. I added over 600 names to my main mailing list last month. Cost me less than $1 per name, if you could believe it. And I'm going to add even more. I didn't even try. I just found the system. It really works. It's great. So make sure you stay tuned for the next episode number 63 of Viral Podcasting. This is another show in the can. Whether you're looking to increase your audience, build massive audiences, start a podcasting career, or start a podcast, Viral Podcasting is the place to go. viralpodcasting.com. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks so much for listening.
This has been another episode of Viral Podcasting. Be sure to visit us at viralpodcasting.com.